Welcome to day 3 of our 3-day masterclass. I am here again at the Black Sea, which is blue. Got some seagulls joining us in the background. This is live and it is recorded, so some of you may be entering in as we're co-creating right now. And for those of you watching the recording, I invite you to have a notebook or something to, maybe you'll have an insight that you might want to jot down. So we've got a couple topics to cover. Number 1, no self, no problem. The end of self-improvement. If there's no self, who's going to do the improving of that self? The annihilation of fear. Again, if there's no one to have fear, then who or what is it that is experiencing fear? And of course, which we covered mostly yesterday, which is getting out of your own way. There's no you to be in your way, so you can do it in your own way. And I didn't expect this. The best things are unexpected, right? And something incredible happened just moments ago. So I'm gonna tell the story, and actually in telling this story, we'll be covering a lot of the topics that I just touched on, that I just presented or shared rather. Because a miracle just happened. A miracle just happened. And I'm going to start by sharing this miracle with you. Because what is a gift if it's not being shared? Welcome, Sylvia.
Good morning.
Good evening. Good morning to you. Good evening to me. So just before I hopped on here, I was messaging back and forth to, it's so crazy how these things happen. It's literally, what just happened is so beyond my ability to understand that there's no way I could have entered into this meeting and not talked about what I'm about to be talking about. Because this, here we are. I'm really speechless, and I know Steve is going to see this video too. So Steve Hardison, he commented on this post that I made a couple of days ago about the first masterclass that we had. And he asked me if there was a recording, and if there is a recording, if I could share it with him. So I went ahead and I shared it with him. And a little background is needed on who Steve is in order for this to make sense. Stinka, come on in. So Tinka already knows about this too, because I began sharing with her what was happening, because she just walked by on her way into the hotel room. So and the miracle happened after Tinka left, just in the past like 10 or 15 minutes. This miracle. Thank you for being here. You're welcome to come and be here in person and not be on your phone if you wish to be. Whatever you like, whatever you want to do. And you're welcome too, Sylvia. I don't think you'll make it here in time, but anyone that comes on is welcome to be in person. The best is in person. I love in person, and I'm grateful and appreciative that we get to connect in this way as well. So Tinka knows who Steve is too. And like the synchronicities, if I seem a bit scattered, it is because I absolutely am a bit scattered right now because of how this happened. But here's the beautiful part. It has everything to do with no self, no problem, the end of self-improvement, the annihilation of fear, and getting out of our own way. And it's got everything to do with this. This is, do you know what this is? Can you tell? Tinka, you can't say because you already know. Sylvia, do you know what this is?
Or
What is it? What is it? What do you think it is?
like a string or a yarn?
What was the first thing you said?
String.
Oh, I thought you said it. See, I'm doing the thing that I said Yvonne did yesterday. This is a piece of carpet.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see it.
This is a piece. Yeah, you see it. You see it now. Now you can make out its carpetness. And all right, I get it. Sit in lotus for this. I can't have my feet on the ground for this. Okay. So Steve, he commented and he wanted to see the first masterclass. And so I shared with him in the link, and then I remembered that I had this piece of carpet, which was in his office for I don't know the numbers, but sometime, at least 20 years, maybe even 30 years. And Steve is a coach. Actually, if his website is The Ultimate Coach, I think it's either .net or .com. I don't know. But if you just Google The Ultimate Coach, Steve Hardison, you'll find him. And now, why do I have a piece of his carpet in my hand? And how did a miracle occur from that is the next natural question, right? Well, Steve came into my life, or I came into his, or however this happened, as a result of me being more deeply connected to my authentic self and how I wanted to show up and how I wanted to serve in my business, but also just personally in my life, and in all, literally in every single relationship. And this happened about 3 years ago, where I one of his clients named Chris Doris, who I then worked with Chris as my coach. I told Chris what my vision is, which like that magic, right? Pretty much because I dropped all the nonsense of what I thought other people wanted me to be. And then I just started being who I already am and who I know that I am. It was like that simple. It was literally that simple. But I went on this journey and I had this process, and there was suffering and all these things that like ultimately were not necessary. And at the same time, if I didn't go through all these things, and I'm gonna connect them all in, because it lands me here sitting at the Black Sea in Bulgaria. All of like into together like a carpet, like a miracle filled carpet piece. Clean. There's okay. Bad joke, Christopher. Bad joke. So I started working with Chris Doris, and then Chris said, dude, there's a school for what you want to do. He's like, there's literally a school for this, and it's called the University of Santa Monica, which is a school for bringing.
You're cutting in and out a little bit. Not sure if you're in.
Let's see. I'm gonna. See how my internet connection is.
Now I hear you well.
Am I back? Okay. If you're on live, if you could. Okay, very good. So, University of Santa Monica. It's a for spiritual psychology, and then ultimately they had this soul-centered coaching program that they actually don't offer anymore. They didn't even offer it by the time I went through the program, but it doesn't matter because that was like why I thought I was what I thought I was going there for, and then all the reasons, even now to this day, literally today, are making themselves known. So I learned about Steve because Steve went through this program too, and I found his website, and I went on his page. I said, man, like here's someone, and Steve Chandler too. Here are people who, to me, they're not up until then, my experience of the coaching industry, it was like kind of corny and cliche, and it didn't feel like really real or authentic, or it always seemed like there was just like, it just seemed disconnected. But when I found University of Santa Monica, and I found Chris Dorris, and I found Steve Hardison and Steve Chandler, I'm like, oh, thank God that there's a way to just be yourself, and that's it. Like, that's it. There's no need for corny anything, which are all just judgments and projections that were coming from me anyhow, because that's where I was at that time. So of course those things were more aware. So I had this very heart opening experience. I went to University of Santa Monica, and let's fast forward a little bit to the first time I was in Bulgaria 2 years ago with Tinka and Zlatka and her family. And by the way, like if I wasn't on this heart path, there's not a chance that I would have ever met Zlatka either. So, that like all of this is a direct reflection of all these little things where it's so beautiful when you could like look at your life and map out how one thing led to another, and how it's freaking miraculous, and don't even really have proper words for it. So when we're in Bulgaria, there was another sort of like really heart opening experience. I tend to have a lot of people and I remember I had this vision.
Christopher, you're breaking up. Maybe you should move to another spot.
It's breaking on your end. Yeah. Okay.
Can
How about
hear
you? For you, Sylvia, is it breaking up or is it okay? Yeah, I can hear you. All right, I'm going to relocate. Let's see if I can get a better connection, better internet connection. We're connected. Let's see. Sylvia, how is it for you?
It breaks in and out. It's kind of an electronic noise that comes in. And
Oh, wonderful. But that's pleasant. How's this? Is this better? Yeah. Okay. So,
yeah.
Very good. Very good. So, Tinka, do you remember what the vision that by the way, I'm not very, I don't get visions and things like this often, like really barely a couple times a year, when I'm consciously aware of having like a clear, and when I say vision, I mean like I actually see something with my eyes closed. Do you remember what it was, Tinka? Okay. I think maybe your internet connection upstairs isn't that good, Tinka, because I can see Sylvia.
I feel I have a good connection here, but you constantly like breaking up. I don't know what it is about this internet
Yeah.
today.
It just kicked me off again. Huh. Let's see. I'll go where I was for the first day. Maybe that'll be a little better. Thank you both for your patience.
Okay.
And anybody else that watches this. All right, third time's a charm, right?
Как беше морето, Тинка? Вчера ходихте ли? Чуваш ли ме?
Хубаво е. Отдавна ли сме били тук и сега наистина така се наслаждаваме на тези няколко дена. Кристофър тотално се изгуби, не знам какво става.
Да, не знам. Колко време
Ами-
ще бъде там?
Утре си тръгваме. Нямаме много.
Мгм.
Много дълго. Ама нищо, достатъчно. Този
Мгм.
път по-малко. Надяваме се да ще повече.
Майка си и баща си там ли са?
Ами не, те живеят в едно село до... Не знам кой град ти е познат. Ние сме от Хасковския край.
Да, и аз.
Да. Ти спомена ли ми откъде сте? От Димитровград са ти всъщност, да.
А,
Значи, да, точно така. От едно село до Любимец Иерусалимово.
Добре. Близко.
Да. И всъщност по-голямата част от времето прекарахме с тях.
М.
И оставихме малко, няколко дена тук за почивката. Ма ние сме за много кратко. Златка и Кристофър те ще постоят малко повече при тях. И те само при тях, но да.
Навсякъде. Супер.
Навсякъде, където решат.
Идеално. Тук имахме две almost tornadoes. Такива голями много Да, беше ужасно, обаче всичко премина. Нищо не беше тотално.
Добре.
Right. Беше много интересно.
Тук сварихме много големи жеги. Сега е по-добре, обаче първата седмица беше много, много топло. 108 градуса по Фаренхайт, тук беше 44 някъде.
Ужас.
Много топло, много суха, такава неприятна жега, но какво се прави? Какво става с този човек? Чака да видя какво прави. Unmute. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Looks like it's you and I, and I'd love it if Sylvia would rejoin. However,
I don't know what happened with the talk, but
what is it?
We were just talking, but she disappeared all of a sudden.
Oh, really? Okay, well, maybe she'll come back then. So
Maybe.
I was asking you a question anyhow. Do you remember what what happened? What I saw 2 years ago?
If you're relying to the holy church that we went to 2 years ago to visit, Ivan Litsky, I don't know if that's what you're relaying to.
So you have a what is it, clairvoyant ability. And I remember when I told you what happened, we were in the car and I was doing one of my meditations, and during my meditation I saw this this cross, and it was just like a perfect cross, and it had like little balls on each end, but it was perfectly square. It wasn't like longer. I'd never seen a cross like that. And you said, yeah, you remember now, right? Yeah.
And what did they say?
Well, you said that you I guess I'm happy to have, I might not be clairvoyant, but I at least can remember this, but it was really miraculous to me. And this is why I remembered it. Okay, Sylvia's back. Perfect. So Sylvia, I was just telling Tinka, and anybody else that watches the replay, you get the glory of hearing things 5 times over. I saw this cross in this meditation, and I've never seen a cross like it, not in real life. It had all 4 sides were like equal. You know, it wasn't like that. It was just like perfectly like that. And there were these little balls on the end of each. And I drew it. I actually drew a picture of it. And when I shared this with Tinka, she said that she knew I was going to see that all over the place at these different churches that we were, I don't even know if they're temples or the very ancient, what is it?
Monasteries?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, monasteries here in Bulgaria, which I didn't even know there were monasteries in Bulgaria. So that was really, really cool. And it was what was even cooler about it, I mean, the cross, you know, the crucifix, that's very near and dear to, I don't identify specifically as Catholic, but I was born and raised Christian and Catholic. And I definitely have a deep connection to what I understand and what we're sharing in, which is essentially Christ consciousness, Buddha nature. It's all the same thing. And so I see this cross, and then I see it in all these different places. And it was really very, that was miraculous in and of itself, but it came full circle literally today. So after Tinka walked upstairs, I wanted to Google this location because I was messaging with Steve back and forth. And I remembered that I had this piece of carpet with me. And the reason why he sent out pieces of his carpet, because to me, he's somebody that's really deeply connected to his authenticity and in alignment with Christ consciousness, and just shares freely, but also very, very courageously and boldly. So I admire him, and he's, I guess, in some way, like my coach's coach. So I just look up to him in a lot of different ways. And I was really grateful to receive this, because I know that there are a lot of incredible coaching moments and miracles that occurred with, you know, the people that were standing on top of this carpet over the past 20 or 30 years, like countless miracles. And so I said to Steve in a message today, I said, Steve, my plan is to take this piece of carpet and to bring it to this cross, which has fragments of the real cross that Jesus carried, and then bury it by that cross, or just to do something symbolic with this. I have a whole piece of carpet this big, so I can do many other cool things with the other pieces of the carpet. If you too want a piece of the carpet, I'll send you a piece of the carpet. I'd be happy to share it. Yes. So I said to Steve, I want to bury this by a part of the real crucifix that Jesus carried. And he's like, that's magnificent. You know, that'll be the coolest thing that someone's done with it. Cause he sent this to, I don't know, probably at least 100 people, clients, friends, things like this. And they're making all sorts of different things out of it. And after Tinka went upstairs, and you know, I'm in the middle, like I'm preparing for today. Like this happened to be the preparation for today. Little did I know. But I couldn't think of the name of the monastery. So I Googled it real quick. And okay, I could probably share. I'm going to share the screen because I want you to see this when I saw it and how I saw it. And I just got chills immediately. So check this out.
Is it Rila?
It's near the Rila Lakes. Do you see this?
Wow, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Is it like Saint Sophia? I don't.
It's so here, the name of it, it's on the back of an image of the Holy Mother. It's the name isn't on here. Here it is. Tarnograd Church, which is near It's near the Rila Lakes. And okay, I'm going to stop the share. So immediately when I saw that, I was like, that's it. It took 2 years like to come full circle and manifest. But I saw that image in black. It wasn't gold, how that cross was, but that's what I saw 2 years ago. And it's, I mean, the small little details that just make this so, like, I couldn't have planned, obviously I couldn't have planned something like this to happen, but for us to be in Bulgaria at this time, for Steve to send me this message, for me to have his carpet with him in my hand. And then after I Googled it, the only reason I was able to Google it, because I talked to Tinka, and it was Tinka's father, Zlatka's grandfather, who told us about this actually. And we were going to ask him, but I just couldn't wait. So I Googled it real quick and I found it out, and here we are. And I mean, with that, we've really covered a lot of ground really in the past 2 days. The teaching topics for today are no self, no problem, the end of self improvement, the annihilation of fear, and getting out of our own way. So there's 4 topics, but really, I mean, all of them have one really beautiful, simple solution, which is we're never in our own way. We can't improve a self that's already, well, that doesn't exist to begin with, and that's already perfect, whole, healed, and complete as it is. Like Tinka and I, we had an incredible moment just a couple months ago. It's like we're always just searching and searching and searching, and it's like, what if this really is as good as it gets? And this is like the thing that we're looking for is like, this is St. Francis of Assisi again. I mentioned him yesterday. What we're looking for is what is looking. And then we create our lives from a totally different paradigm, then I'm no longer creating from lack and limitation and trying to improve something that isn't even really here. Whereas now, when I create anything or do anything, and I'm in attunement with my selfless self, that's why I called this group Selfless Creators, then it's coming from abundance. It's coming from love. It's coming from joy. It's coming from creativity. It's coming from inspiration. It's coming from freedom. It's coming from truth. It's coming from beauty. It's coming from joy. Versus, let me do these things to appear good enough, to appear perfect, to appear fill in the blank of all the things that we do to try and get somewhere that is other than here. And in trying to get somewhere that's other than here, we miss these beautiful little miracles that are happening all the time, but they're only ever happening now, because they can never happen there, because there is no there. They can only happen here. And even to say here, even to say, because when, for example, be here now, that's a popular thing in spirituality, like be here now. Well, it's like, yeah, be here now. Here means location, but the funny thing is there's no there anyhow. It's just infinitely expansive here-ness. And then now there's also no past and there's no future. Who do we think we're fooling? Who do we think we're hiding from? Who do we think that we're proving something to? I've finally surrendered to the fact that if I'm doing any of those, I'm only ever doing it to myself. And then that's where surrender comes in for me, where I'm just like, all right, well, I guess this looks like this is bonus round. I'm living in I don't even know, right, Earth, whatever it is, and I'm having a spiritual experience through this human channel, body, vessel, mind, Christopher. And the only thing I desire is to do this. Okay, that's something like I love really delicious cheese pizza too. And there are many other things that I enjoy doing it, but I enjoy doing any of these things from a place of knowing who I am. And when I feel like I don't know, like knowing that that's totally okay too. Because it's not about knowing, at least not like intellectually, it's about knowing from a place of in being a living embodiment of truth. And again, as I mentioned it the first 2 days, I have to mention it again this third day for you, Sylvia, for you, Tinka, for any of us, for me, Christopher, which is the question of, am I truly willing to allow myself to feel how absolutely incredible I am? Am I willing to allow myself to be the miracle creator thing that I've been looking for only always now? Am I going to allow myself to have that? And most of the time I'll do this thing where I'm like, I really want to. Can it really be that good? And then I'm like, okay. Surrender to how incredible everything is, and then move forward. And that's it. Like that's really it for today's whole
point where you sort of have to face your fear of freedom, being so free that you could choose literally anything that you want. You can have or be or do anything that you want to be and experience. That total unlimited power, so you're sort of faced with like, because in society you're so trapped of being a slave in the system, in the matrix. It's like once you become free, you're like, whoa, what now? Like, have you had that sort of fear of freedom experience?
So I'm happy that you mentioned society, and maybe, I don't know if you used the exact word matrix. I think you may have, right? Yeah. So here's the whole thing. You, me, Tinka, not only are we part or we're part of the matrix, or are part of it, depends like from what level we're relating to this, but we created the matrix, and that matrix has one subtle hold on us, which is the fear that you just spoke of. So interestingly, if we're feeling the fear, that's the self-created fear within the matrix that we created anyhow. And it's just one subtle layer. I mean, this reminds me of when I experienced an ego death, where I had ceased to exist. I mean, this was accompanied, I shared with you the first day, a mushroom ceremony, but that was all my ego going nuts, thinking that it didn't exist. And my ego was holding on to itself because my mind and ego could not fathom the reality, which is this reality, which I was able to get out of. And this is, again, why day one, we went over self-inquiry. I finally asked myself, I said, well, wait a minute. If I don't exist, and let's use the example that you just gave. If I don't, and we'll use non-existence as the core element of this, the coreless core element of this. If I don't exist, who or what is it that feels fear? And the answer is always, obviously, that's just a thought, a manufactured, concrete thought that creates this temporary mind-body identity. But that's not who we are. And that, on the level that we're talking about, can be considered the self-created matrix. Does that answer the question? Kind of perfectly, right? If I do say so myself.
Yeah. I was eating it up. It was so delicious. Just than my watermelon, or comparable, because I think it's my favorite fruit. One question I wanted to ask, what do you think is the origin of desire? If there is no self, desire, like who or what, where is desire coming from?
Okay. So that's something that I could talk on forever. Actually, I am talking on that forever. But for the duration of this Zoom meeting, I have about 18% battery. It's been challenging with like going up and charging our phone and then making sure I have enough battery, but that's more than enough time. I'm going to condense something that's really long and drawn out. And by the way, definitely is not a fact. It's definitely what my intuition tells me. And this is the only way that I've made sense out of this very thing, because I've explored this too, Sylvia, which is if there wasn't a desire for you or for Tinka or me or anyone else to be here, I don't mean just in this meeting, but I mean just to be alive, I don't think we would have ever chose, even if we don't remember choosing it, right? I don't remember, I don't remember the soul contract that I high-fived God and said, put me in Christopher's body, let's do this. I don't remember that conversation, but I imagine there was a desire of the universe, which literally up until whenever it is that we were born, the entire universe, whatever it is that's responsible for bringing us here, wanted us to be birthed in consciousness as the unified field that in a way like can't experience itself because it's just empty spaciousness. It wanted to have an experience of itself. It wanted to desire the illusion of separation to come into union, ironically, with itself again. And so you were born and I was born, and now we get to know infinity. We get to know the infinite consciousness through the beautiful, incredible, illusory, finite mind and body. So we're just and that's where I think, like you asked very eloquently, what do I think? Because it is not, I don't remember when that happened. I don't think there was no me, right? There was no temporary mind body to have remembered that anyhow. And in the same way that we don't remember anything from our dreamless sleep at night, every night we die, we merge with consciousness, and then we're brought back to life in the morning or when we go into dream state.
Yeah, I love that. Really us at ourselves or through ourselves. We're just that's what mirrors are. It's so beautiful. It's so profound when you step back and just look at it from the but then it's like consciousness doesn't, change or evolve. It doesn't need to improve. It's not like expanding. It just wanted this experience. It just wanted this, I'm like, what's the reason? What's the point? What is the point of us being human and being here and like doing things? So thank you for sharing that. That was really.
Yeah, there's one more piece to that, and I actually want to wait to share it because that would be really, really perfect to sort of end with. And then I'd love to hear if Tinka, you have anything that you'd want to share in as well. This is being recorded as well, so this is going to go out to others, and I want to share the offering that I have with this. So are you two open to me sharing what the offering that I have beyond this masterclass is? Very good. Cool. So it's going to be very much so like this, except the element that's different. There's an investment component to it. And I have 1 month and 2 months for, God, what's the title I thought of? Oh, yes. Living Non-Duality. The title came to me last. Living Non-Duality. And it's not like anything I've ever done before. Like all the different programs and things I've done have been different than this. And because of that, the investment I want to make these, like, there's nothing more that I enjoy than this. And for that reason, this transmission, which again, I don't think I'm anything really special other than the fact that I do have a gift for giving words to things that are hard to give words to. I'm going to be so happy when I can make this like totally fully donation based, and actually that's the direction that it's going into. But what the investment is now, for 1 month, it's 444, so $444, and that's weekly Zoom meetings, just pretty much like this. They'll be recorded as well. And then I think the parrot wants to join. I'll see. I accept crypto as well, in case you're a crypto parrot. And then I have 2 months as well. And this is something, by the way, it's not like, as you can see from the meeting that we've had, it's not like there's a tangible goal to really, but and there is. The tangible goal is living non-duality and living in a way that's important with the accordance of our true nature. I mean, there's nothing else that's more important. So to me, the idea, it's like, well, why not focus my intention in living in a way that's in alignment with the things that I deeply care about. So yeah, he's in. He's cheering me on. So 2 months is going to be 777. So if you decided, you wanted to be here for 8 meetings instead of 4 meetings, that's $777. And then I'm going to keep it rolling on a rolling basis. And you both, or whoever else that joins this recording, as the rate goes lower, I will absolutely be grandfathering everybody into, the lower rate as time goes on, and as I have more individuals participating with this. So that's it. And thank you for listening. Now, desire. Zodka and I recently had a meeting. I think it was actually in our time machine. The only way that desire makes sense at all it's funny. I'm messing with this bird, like trying to get him. I'm whistling at him. I'm doing all these things, and he doesn't make any noise. And then, just like in yesterday, or I think it was the first day's meeting, I was watching the recording earlier today. He starts whistling and doing all these things. That's really a bird. He's a parrot. This is incredible. I love it. Okay, so I'm just gonna dial in and talk through it now. The only way that that desire makes sense is when we're defining desire as okay, this needs to be different because I want something that's in the future. And acquiring that something, whatever it is, even if it's an enlightened state of being, ironically, it makes this moment a little bit not okay. And that's, like, to me, in that way, desire is no bueno, no good, because it's coming from lack. It's coming from, there's something about right now that is not working, if that makes sense. Now, here's the thing. If desire is a natural impulse of the universe, if it's natural, and when I say natural, I mean like how your heart beats, how the parrot whistles, how the ocean waves, how a tree grows. If desire is natural, then that must mean one thing and one thing only. And I discovered this, and I was just like, epiphany moment. So we'll see if we can share in that right now. If desire is natural, that means that the nature of change is that it wants. But what could it want? That means we want what we have. And by the way, I'm using want and desire synonymously. Some people don't. I am. Want and desire, same thing. So we desire what we have, and we have what we desire. We want what we have, and we have what we want. Desire makes perfect fucking sense then, because that like, when you eating maybe delicious ice cream, or you're madly in love, or you're just in a beautiful place, and you find yourself naturally being like, yeah, I want more of this, but your wanting more of it isn't taking you away from that in any way, shape, or form. Your want of it is just like it manifests in appreciation, in gratitude, in loving kindness, in compassion. Because you look around and you see everything. You're like, oh my God, I want all of this. Just so want it more. And I did a recording recently on this. Like the keys to the kingdom within is wanting this more, wanting this moment more. And now Zlatka asked me a really great question while we were doing the video interview on here. She said, well, what about somebody who's like, you know, not enjoying their life? And I'm like, okay, well, I said, you have to want it more. You wouldn't want what you don't want. That wouldn't be wanting, right? You wouldn't want, if any of us have things, elements in our life that we don't desire, don't want that more. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, like, we can't even want that. But here's the thing, if we're able to desire, which means we're able to see contrast in our life. And here's what I mean by contrast. I mean, there are things that we want, and then there are things that we don't want. And you're able to see, like when you tub, when I get really into teaching, I start to lose my ability to speak. Not a good thing. But when you stub your toe, you know, when you stub your toe and it's just like, oh, of course you don't want that, right? Of course. So you're not, I want to, no, because you're able to distinguish. So you stub your toe, but earlier in the day, you were reading some epic poetry or eating delicious ice cream or living your life's purpose through your vocational work, whatever it is that you do, you have the contrast. And so you're not going to continue to focus for the rest of your day on my throbbing toe and I want more of the thing that I don't know. No. So the beautiful part about the contrast in our life, the pain that we feel, which doesn't have to turn into suffering. It does not have to turn into suffering when we're able to see, like, okay, well, there's also a lot of other things that I want, and I know that I want them because I know that they feel good. And this is not a nihilistic call to hedonistic pleasure. It's a true desire is that which is good for you and that which is good for everybody. And it's those things when we're focusing our intention, our love, our joy, our appreciation, fill in the blank, there is no choice for that which we desire to expand. And that is also a natural principle of the universe too. It's just ever expanding, ever changing. So let's desire from a place of knowing that we have what we want and we want what we have. And here's a really, really cool thing. If there's anything in your conscious experience, like somebody that you admire or, anything, it could be something as simple as seeing a really beautiful home when you drive by it. And if you knowingly are attuned with the fact that you're not actually jealous in any way, you're actually like, you see that home and you're deeply grateful for whoever it is that's inside. And you're like, wow, what a cool manifestation of me that's manifesting as them. And I'm so happy that they get to enjoy it. And I know that I get to enjoy that too, if I want it. And anything we want, it's just like, boom, just want it more. And then we have it because you're wanting what you have and you're having what you want.
I love that. It's so resonating. It's so powerful and impactful when you focus your attention exactly in that way. Because when you're focused in a loving and appreciating space, you actually open your heart to receive more of everything that you've wanted. Your desires are already conscious know what you really want. And keep living life, expanding and wanting more things and experiences and things like that. So you sort of just attract it to yourself naturally. I'm really resonating and feeling it and experiencing this in my life daily.
Beautiful.
What about like shadow work or like wanting improvement? And can you speak on like coaching and sort of that, like clarify a little more that that's really not necessary? Because wanting to be different, wanting to change, you're saying that there's something wrong with right now, how you are, who you be. But yeah, change is necessary for expansion and, creating something new. From the contrast, knowing what you don't want, you know more clearly what you do. So yeah, tell me a little bit about the coaching and shadow work stuff.
So we've gone over this, and it's definitely something to point back to because it doesn't for the ego and for the mind that thinks that it can improve and get somewhere and take over the world or whatever it is. It doesn't matter how many times it hears that. The thing that it doesn't want to hear is that, one, it doesn't exist, which the best technique that isn't a technique to see this clearly. Well, I'll share with you that there's the best technique, and then there's the thing that most of us do. The thing, let's start by sharing the thing that most of us do. The thing that most of us do is suffer. And we whether it's whatever, being hard on ourselves, whatever self-flagellating behavior it is, we think that we can. Alan Watts says this really, really perfectly, and I love this expression. He says, this is what he says of self-improvement, and we could all try it right now. If you just hold yourself, we're not hugging ourselves. It's kind of the opposite of a hug, and we try lifting yourself up. Try lifting yourself into the air. Are you levitating yet? It's impossible. So literally, to use the analogy, like, you can't improve a self that doesn't exist. You can't lift yourself up. It's terrible for a lot of these self-development tools and things that are absolutely hopeless. Because there's no, and that's actually beautiful that it's hopeless. It's hopeless because we already are hold, heal, complete as we are. Now, this doesn't mean don't knock yourself out with these things. And that's the thing. If you found out that you didn't have to knock yourself out, but you could, like, just gently and lovingly do that which you desired and reach a level of, we'll talk on the material realm, right? Like, whatever it is we're improving, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a convincing illusion when I was a bodybuilder and I knew that there were multiple different things that I could do that would alter the appearance of my body. But notice how I'm now using the language, looking back on it. I altered the appearance of my body. Did I make it better? Better according to who? I had like 16 abs, which was cool. But can't do that for the long run either. Like, is that actually even healthy? Anyhow, so what most of us do is I'll use the word that you used because it's really great, Sylvia, how you said it. You said when we focus our attention on that. And I said that too, actually, when I was referring to focusing on what we want. The really cool part when we're talking about going about this in the effortless way is that it's an effortless focus. It's, instead of being here on our goals and like just going at goals like this, when I'm here, when I'm like this, I miss all of this. And the thing is, when we're here, we cannot see the wider view because we're too focused in doing this thing. I jokingly love the whole, like, here, this is me trying to get enlightened. Do I look happy? Do I look like I'm enjoying that? It's, however, the real enlightenment is, oh, here we are now. And there's a wider, because the thing is, when we're zoomed in, we miss how everything's already naturally working for us, through us, with us, and all the tools, all the miracles, all the people, all the resources are already here. But if I have my head down and I'm trying to improve myself too much, I'm going to miss, well, it's an illusion, but I'm going to be buying into the illusion that I'm missing out because I'm approaching my life with an energy that I'm missing out, that it's scarce, that I have to do, that I must, take the words need, must, should, have to, and I've done this ritually and I burn them, and I wrote them down and I burn them. And the cool part is you don't even have to do that.
Yeah, it just feels like embracing your super abundant beingness at all times.
Yes.
It's profound.
Without faking it in any way. And it's very easy. It's very easy to not fake it. Here's how to not fake it. When I'm sitting in my abundance, in my joy, in my love, in my whatever. And if I see that I'm attempting to do that from a place of lack, I use the simple formula of self-inquiry. Wait a minute, who or what is it that feels like they lack something? Who or what is it that feels like they aren't abundant? And then you don't, the thing is about self-inquiry, we're not looking even to get an answer. We're exposing the illusory self that is manifesting. This is what's happening. It's manifesting as a belief. And there's a deep, I mean, the one belief where all other mistakes come from. Do either of you know what the one belief is where all other mistakes, and I say mistakes as in like all other misidentifications come from this singular misbelief?
That we are separate.
You probably knew that before this masterclass, and yes, that's exactly what we went over on the first day, which is the first mistake that the material world that it appears that we live in wants us to believe is that I am this temporary mind, I am this temporary body. Every single other mistake will come back to that. And that is why I'm pointing to self-inquiry as the key. You know, anything that isn't self-inquiry or trying to fix something, trying to improve the I, is like the analogy of the sinking boat that has one giant hole in the middle of it where all the water is rushing in, except I'm over here poking, covering these little tiny holes of where there's little tiny water coming. When the reality is I could just go and look at the big hole and say, who or what boat is sinking? And then I see through the hole that there was never even a sinking boat to begin with. I never connected that analogy in that way until now. But that's the illusory prison that we put ourselves in, thinking we're in a boat that isn't sinking. There's not even any holes, or all there is a hole. And it's empty and it's full of life and love and joy. So before we end, for anybody that does want to join on the recording, or either of you, you're definitely more than welcome to. Feel free to just, you could message me, and then I can add you to the group. Well, really, it's just they're going to be on Zoom. I'll do it in a Facebook group too. We'll do it in a Facebook group as well, and that's how we'll be able to take care of that. But before we go today, I was wondering, Tinka, if there's anything that you are called into sharing.
Unfortunately, I'm in a very sleepy mode right now.
That's perfect.
I was just
holding the
enjoying
space.
I just wanted to share real quick that aha moment that I had with you not too long ago, like a couple of months ago, because I feel maybe Sylvia would benefit to it, or whoever listens.
I'll benefit from it too.
And they might have even heard it before, but we'll see. So a couple of months ago, that was in June, the beginning of June, when Christopher came back from Costa Rica. He visited us for a day before he went back to his hometown, Cleveland. And we had this conversation in our backyard where I was like contemplating on like my whole life. I was like searching and looking for what is that thing that I need to do? Like what is the purpose of me I mean, what is the purpose that I have to fulfill? What is that? What is my, like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What is the thing that I must do? Or at least that's how I was perceiving it, that I must do something. That's why I'm here. I must do something, maybe something like, I'm not sure what exactly, but something valuable, let's say it this way. And I didn't feel like that I was doing it. I had that feeling of, maybe I'm wasting my time. Maybe I'm not fulfilling the, my mission. I'm not, and I had this for a longest time, since I remember. And he said something that it just blew me away, because I never perceived it the way how he said it, that it doesn't matter, that it doesn't matter. I'm already living my purpose just because I am here and just because I exist. And how can it be any other way? How can it be any other way? And this was just the moment when I fully surrender to me, to my, like, to the person or whatever I am, like this being that I am right now, and the life I'm living. And I just fully surrendered, and I said, well, that's it. I'm living it. My purpose, my mission, whatever. And no matter what, I'll just continue to live it. And whatever I choose is still going to be, I will still be living my mission, my purpose, or if there is such a thing at all. Maybe it's just a human mind thinking, not maybe, it is a human mind thinking, but because it's like so popular to say, oh, are you living your mission? Actually, it's so spiritual nowadays, and not only nowadays, but it's been lately. So I just want to say that this was something that I will always appreciate, that Christopher and I had this particular moment, and it was a turning point for me, and it will be from now on. I'm definitely looking at life at totally different, and at myself, totally different view or perception, or I don't know, maybe that's not even the right word, but you know what I mean. It's just enough just to be here, and just the fact that I'm here, and that's more than enough. And whatever I'm doing or not doing, it's still okay. So that's all I wanted to share. And yeah, thank you for listening. That's it. Thank you.
That was
Christopher, once again.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone needs to hear this. I felt that way. I'm sure everyone is always feeling this pressure of like, am I doing enough? Am I wasting my time? Am I not doing everything at the right time? Like, I'm wasting my years. I'm gonna die. All those fears, all that pressure is gone in this one station, in this one awareness. It's just everything. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me again of this. Thank you for reminding me of what I reminded you, because I do it too. I have to do, like, as if living I mean, it's ridiculous. And this is so perfect, Tinka, too, that you're sharing this, because that's what I was pointing to with Sylvia when she asked the question about the matrix and the fear. because it's just another manufacturing of like this self-development idea of go and live your purpose, as if that's something that you can do, and as if that's something that you're not always doing at all times, no matter what you're doing, when you're going to the bathroom or emptying the garbage or teaching a best-selling book class. I mean, it doesn't, like, there's no, it's always happening. Like it's always already happening. And then the grace that you, that me, that Sylvia, that anyone that watches this are able to walk within, that's the abundance that we were talking about. It's like you're never, everything you're touching and doing is just emanating with you living your purpose. That's the actual truth of what's happening for all 7.8 billion of us. Instead of, well, let me go find it, or let me figure it out, or let me, like, yeah, right. I'm grateful that I gave that up, and I continue to give it up. I continue, because it's like, it's beginner mind, and it's a practice for me again and again, day in and day out. Like when I am doing something that I am, you know what it is? I'll do things where I'm not seeing the gratitude or the appreciation or the joy in, where I am maybe walking lucky. And I'm like, oh, I need to be doing other things. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm absent from the presence of the experience that I'm having right now. I'm the one that's projecting into a future and robbing myself of the glory and the love and the joy that's inherent in this moment right now, as I'm walking with Lucky or Gemma or whatever these little situations are. So yeah, like I'm really extremely blessed, especially because you're my divine lover's mother, to have been a part of your life and continue to be a part of your life in this way. The parrot's grateful too.
I am beyond grateful.
And you know what the best part is? This is just the beginning. Well, this is it. That's a wrap. Time to go celebrate. Thank you for joining, Tinka. Thank you for joining, Sylvia. I think we lost her on connection. Thank you, Steve. I know you said you'll get the chance to check this out too. And thank you, everybody else who put your loving awareness and attention into sitting and co-creating with us today. I really deeply, my intention is that there were aha moments for you, or reminders, and maybe even something new. Maybe there's something new that you came away and never thought about in that way. And my intention is that you continue to live a life of non-dual awareness. And if you decide to come and join me in the living non-duality, just send me a personal message and we'll get you set up for that. So without further ado, Tinka and I and Zlatka and Toshko and Adam, we're going to go celebrate here for our last night at the Black Sea, and wishing you a celebration this evening too. Ah, there he is. See you in a minute in the real life. The real life. Peace.